At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance.
A personal touch. A high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance.
A personal touch. A high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your...
Here's some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how, Napa know-how. Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Now that shows we stand behind our work. And our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did.
Here's some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how, Napa know-how.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Now that shows we stand behind our work. And our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did.
Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name's Mike Amos. Hope you're doing well today on a Wednesday. Mike, with that holiday, it's man, the week goes by in a hurry, doesn't it?
Yeah, before we know it, we'll be playing football again. I'm sure Troy is, wishing they played probably tomorrow night. They're ready to get back out there and prove that they're a better team than what showed up against Boise. I've been, reading some comments from Coach Brown and some of the players, and Sanders, the great defensive lineman, got injured.
I know it.
Kelly, the offensive lineman, got injured as well. So they're game time decisions.
How early in the game did Sanders get hurt? He's their best football player.
I think he got rolled up on later in the game, so I think he played majority of the game. But both of those guys are game time decisions, according to Coach Brown. So.
We have only one guy that you got to have two men to block, and that's Sanders, and it means everything to have him in the lineup.
Yeah, we were talking about defensive line play. Troy had a academic situation with Zoe Bridges. He played defense.
Boy, and that hurt. Let me tell you, that hurt.
He was out for the season now because of academics, and unfortunately, he was going to be out the whole first half due to targeting against North Texas, and then Calvin Lucky, the kid out of Edgewood Academy, that came in and was a pretty good pass rusher last year, has left the program. So I don't know if Troy Finn, a defensive end, or they recruited the Hayes kid out of Slocum that was supposed to play defensive end, and they had Roscoe Clemens, the kid they got out of Scuba a couple years ago that was playing defensive end, and I don't know if there's lack of depth or not there, but definitely need to find a way to get a better pass rush going throughout the rest of the season.
No question about it. In fact, I talked to Larry Blakely on the show yesterday, and he said the same thing I did. They gave him too much time to throw the football, and especially downfield. Drop back 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. You're not going to be able to throw the ball downfield if your rush gets to the quarterback in 1,003. He's going to have to throw it short, and just like Troy had to throw it short against them, Troy couldn't throw it deep. That makes a big difference. And they hit two bombs. They hit two bombs for touchdowns, and then they had two fumbles recovered and taken for touchdowns. Take those four scores away, and you got a pretty close ball game.
What did Coach Blaney think about Boise being one of the best teams ever to play at Troy? Do you agree with that?
I didn't ask him that question, but he said I asked him could Boise play with a lot of SEC teams? And he said yes. $1 million.
It's one of those things. I guess we'll find out here in a couple of weeks. Boise will play Oklahoma State at Oklahoma State. So if they go there, I don't see anybody beating them throughout the rest of the year.
Schedule,
if they stay healthy is the key.
Yeah, their schedule is pretty easy. It looks like.
I was talking to Johnny Williams yesterday. I was trading some texts with him about something else. And he said that Troy really needs a big running back. That the fact they've had Chun and had Anderson the last couple of years, two big bruising physical backs. That we don't really have a whole lot of size in the running back position now, and he thinks that's something that's that Troy needs to look into as far as getting a bigger back. I guess right now Henderson would probably be the biggest back on the team. He probably weighs 205. Yeah,
and he had a couple of pretty good runs, but you know who I think's going to be the guy. I think it's going to be the little tailback. I believe he's going to be the guy they're going to go with.
Well, he was a star player before he got injured.
Mm-hmm. And he
made it in the Arkansas State game, and then actually I was hearing him in the press conference. He played one snap against Boise last year and just didn't feel right. Didn't feel like he was his normal self, and decided to take the red shirt. And maybe that's a good thing for Troy.
Yeah.
If anybody watched him against Clemson his freshman year, I mean, he's the type of guy that can run away from people.
How big is he? About 180?
Oh, at best. He's a little guy.
Yeah. But the thing about it, he's quick. And, how many times have you seen these little tailbacks that are so quick, that are very effective? And one thing about it, looks like he got his speed back. I remember he scored a long touchdown against Clemson and just outran everybody, and that's pretty much what he did the other day.
Of course, we got other stuff going on in the world of sports. The Ryder Cup picks came in yesterday, and Jim Furyk's the captain for the Ryder Cup. He picked Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and the hottest golfer out there, Bryson DeChambeau.
Oh, boy, you're right.
His 3 picks to join the team. So the Ryder Cup will be coming up pretty soon, and everybody kind of followed that. Pete picked Tiger and pick Phil, so that's no surprise. And then DeChambeau is one of the last 2 tournaments. He'll join a group of qualifiers: Bruce Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Patrick Reed, Justin Thomas, Bubba Watson, Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler, and Webb Simpson. So that's a pretty good group of guys that the United States will have playing, and they're going to probably add one more guy to that team.
Yeah.
Mickelson making the Ryder Cup at 48 years old is pretty impressive, though.
I don't know if he deserves it.
In the final round, he shot 63.
Did he really?
Deserve it.
What, you mean that last tournament he shot a 63?
Yeah, he shot 63.
Man, I didn't know that.
But Mickelson was only, he was the last person out on points.
All right.
48.
All right, let's see who's in the DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka, Koepka, Bubba Watson.
Reed, Bubba Watson, Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler, and Webb Simpson.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. In fact, that's real good. And if you look down here, other than maybe Patrick Reed and Billy Horschel, maybe, there's not a lot of good players. They got the best players,
Yeah, they're going to be playing over in Europe, and they had one over in Europe.
I talk about old Phil. Poor old Phil has just won $4.4 million this year. That's all he's won. DeChambeau, ladies and gentlemen, is a guy that you're going to have to tell me a little bit about him. He's from South Florida, isn't he?
I don't know if he's from South Florida, but he played college golf at SMU, won the U.S. Amateur.
All right. He did win the U.S. Amateur?
Yeah.
I think
all his irons and drivers are the same length.
Oh, they really? That's unusual.
He does all kinds of stuff to his clubs.
Have you ever seen what he does with his putter?
Quirky. No, I've never seen what he does with his putter.
Have you seen that?
What does he do? Something
it's unusual the way he does his putter. But something else about him is that he must be a Ben Hogan guy because he wears that Ben Hogan hat. Ben Hogan is the guy that made that hat famous. Don't you agree?
Well, yeah, and then Payne Stewart wore it later.
Yeah, that's right. But he wore the knickers and all that. DeChambeau would be a good guy to wear the knickers. And of course, with him,
He's from Modesto, California. That's where he's from.
I tell you what, with him and Copa, Brooks Koepka, however you pronounce his name.
It's Koepka.
And then throw in Justin Thomas. Those are three real good young golfers. And, Speed, was he on the team?
Yeah, he's on the team.
Speed goes pretty far. You know what? He's only 27th on the money.
24 years old.
Yeah, I know it, but he bless his heart, he only won $2.8 million, but he's rated. He's 27th on the FedEx Cup deal, and.
Here's what it says. DeChambeau's irons and wedges are cut exactly the same length, 37.5 inches. Their line bounce angle are also the same. Only the loss are different. The league concept, his clubs are usually for their extremely upright lie angle. In addition, DeChambeau keeps clubs on the same plane throughout his swing and does not turn his wrists during the swing.
Isn't that amazing? Well, I will say this, and of course, if Will Matthews calls in, we'll ask him. He's pretty much an authority on it. And anybody out there, golfers, tell us a little bit about that, because one thing about it, if he knows how far he can hit each club, that's what matters. You know what I mean?
I mean, the guy's a genius. He graduated Clovis East High School and won the California State Junior Championship at the age of 16. DJ graduated in 2012 and accepted a scholarship to Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas, majoring in physics.
Oh, man. Majoring in physics? Gosh. He's a rocket scientist then, isn't he? I saw a show last night that I really enjoyed on the SEC network about Fran Tarkenton. And Fran Tarkenton, of course, he had all the passing records for years until your buddy down at Miami broke them, a few of them, but he had several of them for several years. He was a great quarterback, known for his scrambling ability. But also he did a lot of other things. He had some TV shows, and on one of his TV shows, he had a 5-year-old boy that was a golf phenom at 5 years old, and it showed this kid hitting a golf ball. Just 5 years old, probably wasn't even 3 feet tall, maybe a little taller.
Tiger Woods, wasn't it?
It was Tiger Woods. It was Tiger Woods. People don't realize that when he was 5 years old, he was playing almost par golf, and as a 5-year-old kid, Yeah,
that's just phenomenal to think about, that he was that good.
That's right. And his swing was pretty much like the same swing you see today, and that speed, that club speed, it was, he was hitting about 200 yards when he was 5 years old. Oh boy.
Yeah, it makes you wonder sometimes if Tiger wouldn't have lost, his dad early in life. His dad was such a big influence and really kept him, level-headed and kind of was his rock to lean on, and then once his dad passed, Tiger kind of, went a different path and kind of, made a lot of mistakes offside the golf course. And you can only wonder how many majors Tiger could have won. You'll be thinking about that probably. Golf people with the rest.
I'm gonna say something, and please.
Of course, he had injuries as
well.
But
another thing, when he finally found women, that's when his golf game. That's when his golf game went awry. He didn't care anything about women for all those years, and then when women came into his life, then everything went to the pot.
Well, I mean, he was married with a family, and then he strayed from that.
Well, I don't think Spieth has played as well lately, and a lot of people say it's because of his girlfriend and boyfriend.
He's engaged. He's about to get married.
He is. He needs to go ahead and get married.
Big news for Auburn football. Eli Stove, who's kind of a guy they can put in the backfield, and then he's kind of a slot receiver who played really well last year, and your favorite player, Will Hastings, former.
Will Hastings. If Will Hastings would have a hard time breaking the lineup at Troy.
Are cleared for full practice following spring ACL tear. So these guys tore their ACLs in the spring, and now are back at practice.
That is unreal.
Auburn 2 more weapons. You know, Hastings had 27 catches last year for.
Oh yeah, and let me tell you, I apologize for everything I ever said about him. I mean, he has been consistent. He catches the football. It's not how pretty you are, or what great routes you run, or how fast you are. It's can you catch the football with your hands? Isn't that right?
That's right. Auburn's also moved up in the poll. They're up to number 7 this week. LSU went from 25, I think, down to 11. So they've made a huge jump in the polls as well.
They jumped to 15. They jumped to 15.
Oh, I thought I saw one poll they were down to 11.
Oh, they are. You're right. They're 11. They're 15 in the Amway coaches poll, and then they're 11. You're right, Mike, in the AP poll, which is that's unreal. That's great. Alabama still leads both polls, 59 first-place votes in the coaches poll and 48 votes in the AP. AP gave Clemson 12 votes, so I tell you, it looks like Ohio State's going to be good again, too, scoring 77 points.
Everybody was saying that Ohio State quarterback was pretty phenomenal to watch.
Who is he? Who is he? Tell us about him.
I really don't know. I mean, he was just a backup for J.T. Barrett last year, and obviously he was a great player because the Burrows kid was the backup, and he beat him out.
I tell you what, I was impressed with Burrows. I thought he handled the game very well. I was very impressed with Burrows, the kid at LSU. But boy, hey, Mike, on Talk, that people picked up the same thing I did about the language coming from that LSU bench. I mean, sideline was just unreal. He don't need to let folks talk like that. And he was the worst one.
The players or the coaches?
Well, the coaches, more or less him, the head coach.
What do you expect out of Orgeron?
I know it, but I mean, he's still got an image, some kind of image he's got to, hold on to. You know, you can't. I mean, it's not good for kids to hear that kind of stuff. You know.
No, you're right.
And but he might be a good guy, but he is profane, boy. A lot of them are. I tell you, my good friend Max Lowry is going to be on our show today, later on in our show, and he's my pastor at Calvary Baptist Church, and he carries the chain, Mike. He carries the down marker at every Troy home football games, and he said you didn't hear hardly anything, nothing vulgar or profane out of that Boise sideline. He said that coach was about as classy as you could get.
Yeah.
And I mean, they are a class operation, and their coach Harsin he's impressive. I mean, I heard his interview after the game, Mike, and he is an impressive guy.
Yeah, he's a young guy too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would say he's probably in his early 40s.
Yeah. Now he played. You told me yesterday that he played at Boise. I don't remember him. Was he a quarterback or what was he?
Yeah, they said he was a quarterback. I remember. I think he was a backup. They've had a lot of really good quarterbacks there.
Exactly. And I tell you what, they've got a great opportunity to maybe to recruit a lot of Northern California kids. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean most of their roster is Northern Colorado. Were you impressed with their speed?
Yeah, I was. In fact, early when I first looked at them, I said, "Oh boy!" I said, I just looked down at them and I said, "Man, Troy's fixing speed fixing to." And early, I thought Troy's speed did look like it might make a difference, but shoot, those guys could run, and they were physical too. Like you mentioned earlier, they were real physical. But again, you cannot turn the ball over 4 times. Especially 2 were returned. 2 fumbles were returned for touchdowns, and then allow the quarterback enough time to throw the ball downfield. Anytime you can threaten folks deep, Mike, like with those 2 long touchdowns, they've had to play back. Their safeties have had to back up 4 or 5 more yards because of that, and that means they were able to then throw underneath. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Brian Hartson's only 41 years old, so
yeah.
He's just a little bit older than Neil Brown.
What else do you find out about him? This is a class guy, I'm telling you. I mentioned on YouTube. Before the game, I saw
his background's pretty incredible. He was the head coach at Arkansas State in 2013. He was a co-offense coordinator at the University of Texas for 2 seasons.
Well, he would have been a good head coach for them, wouldn't he?
And he also, this is why he got the job at Boise. He was assistant at Boise State for 10 seasons. The last 5 as offense coordinator and quarterback coach.
So he learned from the guru then, didn't he?
Yeah, he's from Boise, Idaho.
He's from Boise.
Capital High School, so.
Golly.
This guy's all Boise.
Yeah, he'll be there till he dies.
He only makes $1 million a year.
Is that all they pay that guy? Shoot, you're right. Just think of how many guys paid so much more than that. How about the guy at Kansas?
How about this? His 1 year at Arkansas State, he was 7-5, tied for first. Went to the GoDaddy's Bowl, and then he got the Boise job. At Boise, he's been 12-2, 9-4, 10-3, 11-3, and now he's 1-0.
Oh boy, Mike, who is the worst football program in? This is the guru, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Amos calling from Birmingham. My son. Who is the worst Division 1A football program in the country?
In the country?
In the country. Who just can't win a game?
What are you talking about, like year in, year
out? The worst football program in the nation at Division 1.
Probably Kansas.
You hit it. Kansas lost to Nicholls State.
Whoever took over
Kansas, somebody ought to fire everybody at Kansas. Bless their hearts. They
almost beat Georgia a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but Mike,
beat somebody else.
Nicholls
playing a lot better.
Nicholls is a good program in 1AA, but still.
North Carolina A&T, who beat Jack State, went to East Carolina and beat it.
Sure did. And that quarterback still has that winning streak. I told you about that quarterback in Jacksonville. Will shut him down. But their coach was smart enough to keep everything close to the vest because.
How bad did Nicholls beat Kansas?
They beat them. I've got that information here. I can't reach it right this second, but they beat them.
Wow, that's hard to believe.
But Kansas is a big school. We're talking about. I'm sure they've got 30,000 students. Probably it's a big school, and of course basketball. Well, they're one of the top 5 basketball programs in the nation, and but their football program is terrible. They're pretty now, boy. Those uniforms, that big old Jayhawk on the side of the helmets, and their stadium's got that huge Jayhawk. Mike, I became friends.
I've never been to Kansas's campus. I've been to Kansas State, but I've never been to Kansas. Yeah. Have you been to Kansas?
No, I've been to Kansas State. I haven't been to Kansas, but it's in Lawrence, Kansas, which I think is a very nice.
Why in the world would Troy not try to get a home and home with Kansas?
I know it. But I bet you, if you looked into it, I bet you they're paying their coach at least $2 million, probably more than that.
Well, the only guy that ever won in Kansas was the guy that weighed 400 pounds, Mark Mangino.
Yeah. Another one of the great coaches. Oh, yeah, I remember that. I'll tell you another thing. Well, you know what? I'll tell you something else.
Coach, Mark Mangino, or the guy that used to be at Maryland. The Bridge, they call it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Both of them were huge. Mike, let me ask you this, and ladies and gentlemen, Mike, in my opinion, is one of the most well-versed guys I know on athletics in the country. What great running back played at Kansas? One of the greatest running backs of all time.
Gale Sayers.
Gale Sayers played at Kansas. Don't you know he's sick?
Didn't they call him the Kansas Comet?
Yeah, he's one of the greatest players in football history. Played at Kansas.
That movie with Gale Sayers and Brian Piccolo. I remember when I watched that when I was a little kid. It made me cry. Brian's song.
Oh yeah, that was something. That's one of the best sports movies ever. Of course, that was when they played for the Bears together. And Sayers.
Gale Sayers. The story about Gale Sayers is pretty unbelievable. He only played 8 years in the NFL and still made the Hall of Fame.
I know it, and that's right. He left sports early. He left football early, and tell us about somebody else that did.
The greatest running back in NFL history left early, Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders left well early.
Left when he was 30 years old.
Yeah, just think of the records he would have broken, Barry Sanders.
Like Emmitt Smith broke the all-time record.
Yeah.
Barry Sanders would have broke it by 4,000 or 5,000 yards.
And then
a couple more seasons.
Just think if Gale Sayers would have played more years, and the Bears were not very good when he played for them, you know.
You know, speaking of Sartain Hall, a lot of people don't realize when Sartain Hall was around, Emmitt Smith dated a trainer.
Oh yeah, I used to see him all the time.
Emmitt Smith.
And I don't blame him. If I was dating that girl, I would come every week too.
I mean, that's when he was playing for the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's right.
He was from Pensacola, so he would be up in Troy all the time.
And just as nice a guy. You would have known. I mean, he was laid back. All he cared about was that girl who was the trainer. And of course,
I saw Emmitt Smith play against Alabama his freshman year when he was at Florida, and he just ran up and down the field. And I remember watching that and saying, "Man, this guy's phenomenal."
Yeah, you know what? I was there with you, of course, and I remember it so well. You know, everybody was making a big fuss over this guy, and you look at him, he wasn't really that fast, he wasn't really that big, but he just had a knack. He had a knack of being able to run behind a block and read his blocks, and he was a smart runner. You know, the guy that coached him in high school is fixing to be on our show in just a few moments, Max Howell. You know, he coached Emmitt Smith.
I didn't know that. Max coached.
Yeah, Max was the offensive coordinator at Escambia County High School in Pensacola. I think he played at Escambia County. He could have played at Pensacola High, but I think he played at Escambia, and they won a state championship. And he can tell you a lot of stories.
Hear from Max about Ole Miss. You know how they looked against Texas Tech, and then Mississippi State played the backup quarterback. Fitzgerald didn't even play, and I think they put up 66 points.
Yeah, let me tell you this: this guy must be. You know, you and I both questioned what is Mississippi State doing. But it looks like this guy's pretty good. But Mike,
he played against the 1AA school,
yeah.
But he definitely, you know, did well with a backup quarterback.
Yeah, the headlines in the in the Montgomery paper this morning was talking about Daughtry Fry. Jabir Daughtry Fry is back at full speed after his injuries, and he's 5'7" and weighs 173 pounds. From Pensacola, Florida, and he broke a lot of Emmitt's records. You know what other great? This is another little question here. But listen to this now. What other great running back in Pensacola played at Troy?
At Troy?
Played at Troy, and he broke a lot of the records of Emmitt Smith. And still holds a bunch of records.
I know one.
Mike, he owned Mississippi State.
It wasn't Betterson. It was DeMontre Carter.
DeMontre Carter. Man, there's a picture in the athletic building of DeMontre Carter running for a touchdown, and there were 8 Mississippi State players behind him. I mean, it looked like that it was no other Troy players on the field, but Carter was going in the end zone. And right behind him was 8 Mississippi State players. Of course, Troy won that game.
Yeah, I'll never forget when he scored that first touchdown against Nebraska, too. And Troy went up 7-0.
Exactly. And I'll tell you another big run he had was at Boone, North Carolina. Were you with me then? Did you go up there with us?
They beat Appalachian State?
Yeah. What they did, they threw Julio Jones' favorite play. You know, the right now. What he did, the quarterback took it and threw it right now to him, and all he did was zing, zing, and he went 75 yards for a touchdown, and Troy won the game. Hello?
I didn't know they played Appalachian State that year.
Yeah, they played Appalachian State, and like I said, he ran 75, 80 yards. You know, guys, we need to look at that. He was really, really good at Troy. He's one of the best transfers. Let's talk about some of the great players that Troy got from Auburn. You know, they had the great running back, the big running back, Ted Yarborough from Early County, Georgia.
And they got the great safety, that Kenny Alvis.
Kenny Alvis was a great one. How about the great one that came in?
The wide receiver out of Jeff Davis, that was so good, Orlando Parker.
You're exactly right. And ladies and gentlemen, against what's that team in Louisiana that we beat? Real good. McNeese. We beat McNeese one night, and it was a huge crowd and a big, big game. And Orlando Parker just sort of stole the show. He gets hurt, Mike, late in the third quarter. He gets hurt, and he's carried off the field. And they take him by ambulance to the hospital. And he comes back with about 7 or 8 minutes to play, and I think he scored 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of the greatest efforts I can ever remember.
Track guy.
Oh, he could fly, no question about it.
Yeah, then, Auburn also got a big defensive tackle out of Auburn that was real good too. It was a Davern Williams.
Oh, Davern Williams was really good. You're right, and he played at Lanier, high school.
When you see Jack State now and all their Auburn transfers, that's basically what Troy used to do.
And Coach Blaney.
The Rock Thomas kid that was the great player out of Oxford that went to Auburn and played running back. Yeah. He transferred to Jack State and went into the draft as an undrafted free agent. He made the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, I'm glad. He deserved it. Now, in high school, he was considered one of the top running backs in the country.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Out of
how many games this Thursday night? The only game is the NFL game, Atlanta Falcons against the Philadelphia Eagles.
That surprises me.
So college will not be playing Thursday, but they will be back the next night. You'll have TCU at SMU on Friday night. And then basically after that, it's just the Saturday games.
Boy, what's happening to Texas? Man, oh man! This guy's supposed to be the guru to bring Texas back. Now, Texas is, you probably got to almost say that Texas is one of the top 5 programs. Wouldn't you say, as far as money and support and all that?
Yeah, I mean traditionally they're a pretty big time program, but.
Bum 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 bum. You hadn't heard that lately, have you?
Texas just doesn't have a quarterback right now, so that's their issue. Until they get a good quarterback, they're not going to win games.
With this new deal, that everybody should be able to find a quarterback with the new, new deal that they're doing now.
The graduate transfer.
Yeah, the graduate transfer. Look at Auburn, what it's done for them,
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
And look at LSU, what it's done for LSU. That was huge to bring that guy in there.
Yeah, I know Reverend Lowry is going to see Mississippi State, Kansas State. That game's going to be at 11 o'clock Central Time, and Mississippi State's a 9.5-point favorite, but that game will be on ESPN if anybody wants to watch it.
And, ladies and gentlemen, Mac Lowry's grandson played at Montgomery Academy, and he's a starting right guard for Kansas State. He's 6'6" and weighs 315 pounds out of Montgomery Academy, and Troy did not even recruit him.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Let me tell you, you get a kid that big and that smart, the kid's brilliant. Your daddy's a big veterinarian in Montgomery, and he lives, you know how far he lives? About 20, I think they told me he lived 24 miles from Troy.
So he lived closer, like Highland Home, probably.
No, it's the other side. It's down toward Union Springs that way. But he was quite a player. He'll play in the pros, I'm sure, with that size. And he's been on this show. Just a great kid, no question about it.
The biggest game of the week in the SEC is Georgia traveling to South Carolina. You think South Carolina's got any chance to beat Georgia?
I don't know. This guy from Opelika, this kid, this quarterback, he's awfully good.
Yeah, Jake Bentley's who you're talking about. Of course, if we ever had Brian Blackman on, he could tell you all about that. That was his quarterback.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to get him on. Well, right now, here's the lineup.
Muschamp's done a good job at South Carolina. A lot better than I thought he would.
Mike, can you believe this, that Alabama State at Auburn is a 6:30 kickoff. You can watch it on the SEC network starting at 6:30. Prime time for Alabama State.
I'll tell you a game I like. Clemson's 12.5 at Texas A&M. I think they'll blow Texas A&M out.
Whoa, I don't know about that now. A&M's not bad.
I don't think A&M's got the players to play for them.
Yeah, well, we'll find out now. Right now, they played the young quarterback, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, they played Northwestern State.
I know. Did he do pretty well?
Yeah, he did all right. I mean, there's a lot of interesting games throughout. I mean, there's a few big ones. You know, South Alabama will travel to play Oklahoma State.
It's a good thing they're traveling because right now Mobile is in trouble with bad weather coming in.
Yeah, they had a lot of rain. They said Mobile area could get over.
In fact, Mike, all the schools in Mobile are closed right now. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And that's not, as the wind blows, we're not very, very far from there,
Yeah, I think the storm came over, is headed towards, once it hit Mobile, it was headed through Mississippi, like through Arkansas that way.
And your mama's at the beach, I hadn't even heard her.
At the beach. She said she was fine.
I didn't know for sure if you'd talked to her or not.
Troy's next opponent is Nebraska. Nebraska didn't play, but they're 4.5-point favorite at home against Colorado. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Nebraska plays against Colorado.
That is that is a low line, Mike. 4.5.
So it's going to be interesting to see. Running back Trey Bryant at Nebraska's out. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully Colorado will beat them up pretty good.
And hope that running back Trey, whatever his name is, doesn't return until after the Troy game.
Alabama's going to be playing at 2:30 on ESPN2 against Arkansas State. Justice Hanson, the Arkansas State quarterback who threw for 4,000 yards last year. Everybody's picking Arkansas State to win the Sun Belt. All he did the first weekend was throw 6 touchdown passes. So. Yeah. Alabama's going to get tested in the passing game the first.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you right now, you're exactly right.
Arkansas State can throw the ball, and then they play at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Ole Miss can throw the ball.
I'll tell you right now, and people are going to laugh. Arkansas State's going to score at least 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, 36.5 points. That's what they said. Saban against non-Power 5 teams in the last several years is 4-13-1 against the line. He doesn't really blow those teams out like he does the big teams.
Well, and I'll tell you this quarterback, let me tell you, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, if they can do that, which I don't know, that's pretty hard to do against Alabama, isn't it? But if he's got a chance to hold the ball for at least 3 seconds, they got a chance to move the ball.
Well, just look at this. If Alabama won 52-17, yeah, they cover.
Yeah, exactly.
36.5.
And I'll tell you, let me tell you this: Arkansas State is not bad. Their program's not bad. They're pretty darn good.
They got some physical guys.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
You're exactly right. That might be the best thing out there right now. You're right. Now, Mike, tell me about Alabama's running back situation. Are they going to play 4? Or they're going to redshirt at least one of these guys, are they?
No, they all played in the first game. You got Robinson, this 4th-string kid out of Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa, and then you got Josh Jacobs. He had a touchdown run and a kickoff return for a touchdown. Then Najee Harris has been hurt.
Now, out of high school, ladies and gentlemen, 2 years ago, Najee Harris, he's from California, isn't he?
Yeah.
He was the best running back in America. At least that's what they called him. The best coming out of that recruiting group.
UAB will travel to Coastal Carolina, so that's going to be interesting.
UAB will rattle them.
Coastal Carolina got killed by South Carolina.
Let me ask you this: do you have any stats on South Alabama? Are they running the ball? Or are they throwing it? With our ex-offensive coordinator, he loves to throw it. Try to find some information on how they did running and throwing in that game against La Tech. That really surprised me that they played La Tech that close, especially because of the first game.
They were down, I think, 23-7 and made a great comeback.
They're like that.
26.
They're like that. They don't quit. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'll try to find the box score from that game.
Want to mention something else that's in the store in the paper today. Former Abbeville and Eufaula High standout Siran Neal will start the NFL season with the Buffalo Bills. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah, he played Jacksonville State, didn't he?
I was wondering where he played. Let's see. Neal becomes the third former Eufaula standout in the last 8 years to play in the pros. Of course, one of them was Jarrell Jernigan of Troy. The other one was Courtney Upshaw of Alabama. And Neal, like you said, played linebacker at Jacksonville State. So congratulations to him, and young men out of Eufaula have made the team at Buffalo. Does Troy have anybody? Does Troy have anybody in the pros right now? McClendon's in the pros.
You got McClendon in the pros, and then you got Addison.
Addison, the defensive
end for the Panthers.
Yeah.
Garcia got cut.
That was late. He is on the practice squad, though, isn't he?
Oh, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. There's not near the Troy guys. The guy that's a good special team player is with the Titans. He made the Pro Bowl last year.
Who was that? Troy guy?
Big guy that transferred in from Michigan State.
Oh, okay.
Troy,
I remember. I remember him.
I can't think of his name.
Yeah, and he went to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Special teamer. I'm trying to find South Alabama rushed for 242 yards the first game.
All right, that'll tell you a little bit right there. So 242 yards. He knows a lot about the running game, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
What he'll do with this team.
Let me get him loaded up real quick.
Okay. What he'll do with this team at South Alabama, ladies and gentlemen, is what he'll just try to keep the ball from them, running the football, and I don't think they're ready to just blow anybody out, but he'll make sure that he has a good running attack that'll keep the game close, and something might happen at the end. That's kind of coach he is. He's very, very. We're talking about Steve Campbell, who played right here at Troy on a national championship team, and he is an excellent coach and has won national championships at the junior college level and at the Division II level with Delta State. So he's a very good coach, and he's got a lot of the Troy connection down there that has gone with that came down to join his staff. In fact, the offensive and the defensive coordinator at South Alabama both played at Troy and coached at Troy. I want to mention the football polls are out right now. Thompson of Alabaster is the number one team in 7A, and you know how they got to be number one team in 7A? First of all, they brought in a very good coach, but what they did, they got Tua's brother from Hawaii, who has moved to Birmingham, his family has, and they're the number one. Hoover, after being clobbered by a team out of Washington, D.C., 42-8, is the number two team, followed by Central of Phoenix City. I love old Jamie DeBose. Now, a lot of his people came from the Opp and Elba area, and boy, what a great guy he is. McGill Tulin is 4, and Bob Jones is 5. Looking for some teams that you in our area. That's pretty much it right there. Enterprise did not get any votes, but Enterprise is 1-0. Wetumpka, who lost their great quarterback early in the year, still is loaded, and they're the number one team in in 6A, followed by Oxford, Pinson Valley, Clay Chalkville, and Spanish Fort. Other teams, maybe Eufaula is 1-1, and they're in that league, and Opelika, even though they're 0-2, are ranked number 15 in that league. Carroll of Ozark, Coach McDonald is continuing to put a good football team on the field. They rank 4th in the country, or in the state of Alabama. The number one team is Briarwood, followed by Etowah High School. Then Viger is 3, then Carroll of Ozark. Other teams in our area that are ranked, Sylacauga is ranked 10th. And Charles Henderson at 0-1, I reckon, by playing Enterprise so tough, they received votes this week. So congratulations to them. In fact, they received 3 votes in the polls. So, and of course, Charles Henderson plays Rehoboth this week. UMS Wright out of Mobile is the number 1 team in 4A, followed by Holtz Bluff, Hillcrest of Evergreen. Boy, I don't know how that program has turned around. I'm sure it's coaching, but of course it's a big school, 4A school, and they're really playing well right now. Dale County is ranked 4th, just right down the road. Then Andalusia is ranked 5th in 4A. And looking for some other teams, Catholic of Montgomery is ranked 7th, and Headland at 2-0 received votes. In Class 3A, we're talking about football rankings this week. Looking for some teams in our area. Randolph County is 1-0; they're number 1, followed by Sachs of Anniston, Piedmont, Mobile Christian, who got beat last week. Thomasville, Gordo, Wicksburg, and then let's see, T.R. Miller's ranked 10th. Old buddy Kenny Keith's team is ranked will actually receive votes in Class 3A, so he's got them going pretty good at Providence. Pike Road, the new school, is 2-0, so and they're off to a good start. Pike Road putting together a football team for the first time this year. In Class 2A, Fife. Is it Fife or Fife? Well, however you want to announce up there, they call it Fife. And and when they want to drink, they call it Sprite instead of Sprite. But in Class 2A, listen to this. Fife is number 1, and then number 2 is Luverne, Coach Ryle's team, off after beating a very good team from right down the road from them, is ranked number 2, and of course Georgiana is the team they beat this past week. Georgiana, one of the top teams in the state. Then comes Reeltown. Then comes number 6, Arrington, with a 1-1 record. That's Coach Stephen Kilcreek's team. And then the Goshen Eagles. They dropped down a little bit, but they're still in the top 10. The Goshen Eagles are ranked number 9 this week, Coach Bart Snyder's team. We're going to call Bart in a few minutes and see how things are going. And and Abbeville got some votes also in Class 2A. In Class 1A, the Elba Tigers ranked 8th this week, and after Pate team beat Opp 56-34, I think was the final score. Elba looks good under Pate Harrison, who is the new head coach, formerly the head coach at Dale County High School. Lynette's number 1 in Class 1A, followed by Maplesville, and then Sweetwater, then Linden, then Marengo, then Brantley is ranked number 6. And then, of course, my good buddy is now the head coach at Brantley. And then, as I mentioned, Elba is 8th. Georgiana dropped all the way to 10th, but look out, they'll still be good, no question. I want to mention also that Coach Rigsby, who is the new head football coach at Eufaula, he won huge over Beauregard. That was a big win for Eufaula, and Coach Rigsby has turned it around after losing the first game to Early County, Georgia, which I don't think should count because it's an out-of-state game. But that's what I was doing. But they're now 6A. Eufaula 6A, and they receive votes. So, of course, Beauregard dropped out of the picture. But in independent schools, ladies and gentlemen, the Pike LaVarge Patriots ranked number 6 in the Alabama independent schools. Coach Gene Allen has his team playing very well after beating Freeport, Florida, in a game that was shown live right here on Troy Cable. He beat Freeport pretty soundly, 42-20. And so congratulations. And remember, our coaches show with the Coach Gene Allen show will be viewed tomorrow right here live from our studios tomorrow at 7 o'clock. We'll start the coaches shows at 5:30 with the Carroll High of Ozark show. And Carroll High, boy, always good. And I was very impressed with their footage that they gave us last week. So Carroll starts at 5. The Charles Henderson show is at 6. Brad McCoy. The Goshen playback coaches show starts at 6:30 with Coach Bart Snyder. Then at 6 let's see. Here we go. Ozark 5:30. Charles Henderson 5 o'clock. Goshen 5:30, and then the Coach Pike Liberal Arts show starts at 7. Then at 7:30 is the we've got to make sure of this. We could have a change here, but right now it's Arrington at 7:30, and then Elba at 8 o'clock. So we'll be working on all that, but. It is great to get all this going good, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch all those coaches' shows with the highlights. That starts again this Wednesday right here on our show. Hopefully, maybe, we'll have a coaches' show from last week, but it'll be live right here on Troy Cable Channel 2 on your dial, and, of course, Facebook all the way across the nation. We're going to take a short break. This show is brought to you by Trojan Auto Parts right here on South Brundage Street in Troy, and, of course, Mike Kilcrease and all the great people, one of the great outstanding places to go to buy parts. Country Financial, Melissa, good morning to you, and, of course, located in downtown Troy. Call her at 465, and then we just jumped off. Let me tell you about Rumors. You like spaghetti? They've got as good a spaghetti as you go find anywhere at Rumors today. And we're excited about Rumors being in downtown Troy. Of course, I want to mention also Sisters. The buffet is every day now at Sisters. Of course, normally it used to be Wednesday through Sunday, but now it's every day. The buffet is every day except Sunday. And it is delicious food, of course. At Sisters. Pat and Geraldine been doing it for a while now. Have the best food you'll find anywhere is at Sisters Restaurant. I tell this story every now and then, ladies and gentlemen, about being in Savannah and looking around for a good place to eat. And I went by, what's her name? Steve, the guru, so-called cook in Savannah. And it was a big line outside, and my wife and I walked up to the window out to look in at the buffet and see what kind of food it was. Well, we turned around and looked at each other and said, you know what, we get the same and probably better food at Sisters. And, of course, that place in Savannah was well known, and I'm trying to think of her name, but, of course, I'm sure her food's good, but no better than Sisters, no question about it. I want to mention the Withington Group. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, I was calling back.
Mike Amos calling back from Birmingham this morning, and, of course, we're having a good time talking ball. B-A-L-L, ball. Mike.
What time is the Florida A&M Troy game?
The kickoff for that game is 6 o'clock.
Okay. Well, that'd be good as far as the weather. You know?
All right, now what's the...
I thought the 5 o'clock temperature wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. I thought that the weather would have created a little problem, but it didn't seem like it bothered them at all, did it?
No, you know, we're my wife and I are going out to Las Vegas on Sunday, and the high in Las Vegas Sunday is 106 degrees.
Oh, yeah. No, what now?
106 degrees.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on up, preacher. Come on up, ladies and gentlemen. We're laid back television at its very best, and And listen, when your preacher walks in, Mike, you start acting a little bit straighter around here. Of course, Mac Lowry has joined us, and he's the pastor of Calvary Baptist Church on Orange Street in Troy. My good friend, good to see you.
A pleasure,
Just
Mike.
grab that little string there. You know, you being a preacher, you know about mics. Yeah, pull that to you. And Mac Lowry is here, and of course, he's my good friend. Let me tell you something about Mac Lowry, Mike. He, for several years, has carried the chain at every Troy football game. Isn't that right?
Right.
And he hears, and a lot of times he's standing right next to the head coach, aren't you?
Absolutely.
And have you ever had him say, "Get out of my way"? Have you ever had him say that?
Never have.
Isn't that unreal?
Not the head coach.
Is he on the home side or
Not the head coach. Well, he's on the business side carrying the chain, Mike. You know, it's the chain's always on the business side. Is that right?
Right.
But let's ask him about this. The weather last week against Boise. Now, and the weather and the sun was coming right into that bench. Was it bad?
Well, it was hot, but of course, I don't know whether it was Troy or Boise had the big fog people there.
I was wondering.
They had the fans blowing the.
That's what I think. That's what they did. I think that's what they did. They brought that in, and you could see a haze, over there. It looked like somebody burning something.
Now these boys were from Georgia that was running those things, and we were drinking water at the Boise bench there together, and they told me they were from Georgia.
Yeah.
And I just assumed that Boise or Troy one had hired them to come in with those fans.
No telling how much they paid. And Mike, you were right. They did come in a day early. They did come in a day early. I'm thinking they stayed in Montgomery, and they did come in a day early to get used to the heat. And they were concerned. Hey, listen, before this game, they were concerned. About they knew Troy was good last year, but like Coach Blakeney said, and like a lot of people said, Troy didn't play very well last year. Neither did Boise. Don't you agree?
I agree. Yeah.
That quarterback was something. You saw it close and up? I mean, nobody could have seen it any closer than you. What was your feeling about the game?
Well, of course, as a chain crew, even though we were all Troy boys, we can't say anything. But we knew we were in trouble at the middle of the first quarter. We knew we were in trouble.
Because the quarterback was getting way too much time to throw the football.
Too much time, and he was killing us.
That's right. And let me tell you, he's a guy, Mike, he'll be one of the top 5 quarterbacks drafted at least, don't you think?
Well, I mean, you would think if Josh Allen was the 7th pick out of Wyoming, that this guy would definitely be pretty high up at the draft. And his dad played in the NFL for 12 seasons.
Yeah. And he is a very good player, and you just don't give him that kind of time. I hate to keep throwing that out,
but I'm always wondering on the chain crew, like when you see the yellow line on television, how much difference is that yellow line than actually what it is on the field? Usually like a half a football, or is the yellow line on TV pretty accurate?
It's pretty accurate.
It's the best thing that's probably ever happened to football.
Right.
Don't you agree?
It is.
But now y'all can't see it.
No, it's not for us to see.
All right, now tell us who your crew is, and let's let them get a little recognition. Well, let me tell you this now. They've done it for how many years? This is a Troy crew. Is that right?
I'm in my 25th year, but of course I'm the old man on the crew.
Yeah, but now
other boys have been doing it around 10 years.
And you've done every position. You've held the front line and the back line and the And tell us about it.
Well, Chris Sanders does the box, and heretofore myself and Dan Smith carried the chains.
Now, see, I didn't realize that Dan Smith did that.
Yeah, but we've had a little mix-up in things, and Dan has had to move to the scoreboard. Now he's doing the scoreboard.
Up in the box?
Right, and then Jeff...
So he's having to do that sophisticated scoreboard?
Oh, yes. Dan is very eloquent with it.
Yeah,
he doesn't
I know it. I bet he does, yeah.
And I'll tell you...
But now he's just doing the clock now, or the scoreboard.
That's an official position on the clock.
Okay.
The scoreboard.
Okay, he does the scoreboard. Yeah, keeps up with the scoreboard. So it's really a pretty easy job, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can imagine how hard that job is with a fast-moving offense.
Exactly.
You got to mash all those buttons and get ready for the next play.
Yeah, no question. Yeah,
it's really a pretty tedious thing that he has to do. But now Jeff Sexton does the clip.
Yeah.
And Jeff's a big fella, and he's one that keeps everybody out of the way of the chain crew moving through the lines.
Okay, now the clips is exactly where the ball is that right?
No, it's on the next yard line.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's right. If you had if you had a chain, the chain had to come in, he's going to be the one that's going to put it down. Is that right?
You put it there, you mark that. That way, if you have to throw the chains down, you can reset the chains. See, and because you're going to always go back to that line with the clip and set the chains out from that clip.
Who else is there? Then you or what?
Now Norman Flowers helped us Saturday. We had a thing, and I'm not going to be there this Saturday. I'm going to Manhattan, and I think my son Wally is going to fill in for me.
Oh, okay.
He'll take the chain.
He'll enjoy that.
But
he used to officiate too.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
All of the boys that's on the chain crew, with the exception of Dan, are former officials. And
what's Neil Armstrong do? He grades? Is that right?
Neil keeps the penalties. He does that he's on the home side for the first half and on the visitor side for the second half. But he keeps count of the penalties, the yards,
exactly.
Who was involved.
Now the official on the field is doing the same thing, but they're both doing it.
Yeah.
So if you get a targeting in college, you're out of the game if it's upheld, and then if you get 2 personal fouls, you're also kicked out of the game. Is that correct?
Right.
2 personal fouls.
Can't go more than 2. They'll put you on the bench after 2.
Yeah.
So, but we've seen them thrown out of the game too. And of course that's always a big melee on the sideline when that happens.
Exactly.
So, but for Boise State, they were a class group. They were
the
really
head coaches are really
right.
Class guys.
They helped us. They stayed out of our way, and lots of them.
In fact, a lot of people don't realize this, but a coach is not. He's got to stay in his box.
He's got a box,
and all the players have a box too, and then the chains 2 yards off the field or what?
Well, 3 yards actually.
Yeah, 3 yards off the field.
About the depth of that coach's box, which is about.
And I know a lot of times they get excited and they jump over there and jump out on the field.
But then they do have those boys that are hired to keep their hands in the coach's belt to pull them back.
Yeah, exactly.
If you see that on TV, that's intentional. They're there for that purpose, to keep the coach off the field.
I don't think people realize, for that game, those were probably Mountain West officials that came and did the game in Troy. There's probably Sunbelt that did the game out in Boise. Was that the case?
No, these were Big 12.
Oh, really? Big 12.
Yeah. Big 12. Right.
And I'll tell you right now, and you're keeping the chain, but the referee is ordering everybody around. And sometimes he can be obnoxious, can't he?
He can, and you just have to remember that's not a democracy down there. He's the man in charge. Yeah. His word is law.
Of course, you get paid to do it. It's a job. Something y'all been doing for years, and I know you have had this is something that a lot of people, he's a great preacher, one of my very good friends on this earth, but he really has a knack for, you've been officiating. Scotty Sowers got you involved.
Right.
Hey, you were spraying houses and preaching in the church, and Scotty, but that's the way Scotty was. He would bring in people you wouldn't have ever known. You weren't a football guy when you came. Well, you played a long time ago at Troy.
Well, I did, and of course my kids were involved in sports, and for that reason I wouldn't get involved because I wanted to be with them. And I told Scotty, I said, well, when my last one graduates from high school, you can come talk to me. Yeah. Well, he must have put it on his calendar because when Christopher graduated from high school in '94, Scotty came a knocking.
Would you rate Scotty as one of the great people to ever walk these streets of Troy?
Scotty Sowers was a phenomenal person, and his influence ran high and deep. Yeah. There's no question.
And you didn't have to be around him very long to know he loved the Lord Jesus Christ.
Amen. I remember
he was always preaching to everybody, wasn't he?
I said this at his funeral. The first time I met Scotty, he stuck out his hand. I want you to shake the hand that shook the hand of Babe Ruth.
That's right. He loved it. And you know what? You could do the same thing if you've shaken a famous person. You know, I also spoke.
The problem with Scotty though is like sometimes when you'd be playing in a game, you'd start talking to him, you'd be on first.
He would get you.
And you wouldn't be paying attention to the game.
That's right. And of course, I spoke at his funeral too, and he had a lot to do with me growing up, and he always. I tell you what, Scotty did. He gave me a job. Mm-hmm. I always had a job, and he'd get on that mic. Get on that mic down at Murphy Park. You remember that? And he said, Mike, get on up here. You got to clean up before you go. You got to clean up the back room before you go home, or you got to clean the little baby pool. They had that giant baby pool, but I worked for him. And
so did Scotty? Did he have children? Did he have kids?
He had a daughter.
Okay.
But I never really knew her very well. But of course, his wife, I knew her very well.
How did he wind up at Troy State?
He was involved in the Air Force.
Yeah, in Montgomery, and then when he retired, he just came to Troy. Because
that's right. He had officiated. Now he was a big time official. And let me tell you this: anybody that tells you that he was silly, but he was a great official. When he had to, nobody could officiate. Mike, he did a lot of Kentucky games. The Baron Adolph Rupp wanted him at every big game. And Scotty, let me tell you this. Fundamentally, nobody taught officiating any better than Scotty Sowers.
Absolutely. If there was a rules problem, you wanted Scotty.
Yeah, no question.
He knew it. He knew it.
He was on that sideline for many years, too.
Absolutely. I get tickled. Him and Adolph Rupp had a real good relationship together.
Did, yeah.
Scotty told me he made a mistake in a basketball game one night and said, Adolph called him around and said, "Now, Charles, you know I taught you better than that."
and of course, what a great man he was. But of course, we're talking to Mac Lowry.
I'm really curious on the sidelines. I mean, I know y'all are not, spotting the ball, but as far as the officiating in college football games at Troy, are they pretty good as far as spots?
Oh yes.
I always question certain spots.
Yeah.
But they do a pretty good job as far as giving them what they actually made.
What we do, the box man will spot off the right heel of the line judge. He actually marks it with his right heel, and of course the box man will spot his pole off that heel, and then of course if we're resetting chains, we reset off that.
Yeah. And tell them what you do. What your responsibility is. You might have already mentioned it, but what is your responsibility on the crew?
Well, I carry the chain, and
you do carry the chain.
Oh yes.
Are you the back person or the front person?
Well, it all depends. That rotates. Rotates with the direction of the ball.
And the worst thing you can do is lift your chain up and start running before the official beckons you. Because you have got to keep it there. If there's any kind of penalty, you got to go back to the original line of scrimmage. And it's still even young officials. It's one of the hardest things for them to get to go because they're so excited about the game.
See.
But it happens in big time football. Sometimes a guy not thinking about what he's doing, and he moves the chain.
This is the thing. Now we are instructed. Of course, we've been doing it. We worked as a team.
Yeah, sure.
And all these officials that come in from the Sun Belt know us and call us by first name. And they go over the instructions with us, and of course that's the first. Don't move till we move you.
That's right.
And you stay there till he gives a signal.
Yeah, and a lot of the responsibility, really, it's not the chain crew. It's usually that head linesman. He's bringing you before you need to be brought.
That's right. If we see a flag,
I'm saying, it might be a flag way over here. That guy don't see it, and some people are trying to work it too quick.
But we won't move if we see the flag.
Exactly.
What do you do if the ball carrier's coming and 3 or 4 guys are about to knock y'all?
Well,
that was the next question I was going to ask.
That's one of my responsibilities. Anybody new on the crew, I tell them, and I said, listen to me. If you don't hear anything else I say, listen to this.
Drop the chain.
If the quarterback looks your way, throw it down and run. Don't think. If you think, you're too late, because there's no slow ones and there's no small ones out there, and they will run over you.
And I tell you what, it's, hey, it could be dangerous if you. Frank Sadler got hit one time over Luverne and had a huge gash in his head. That chain. I mean, what I'm saying, the people that are operating the chains and the officials better watch out, because these guys
this is true.
Are not holding back.
They won't slow up for you.
Now, over the years, you bound to have been hit.
I got hit one time, would you believe, by Air McNair.
Air McNair, I remember that Alcorn came to town. Yeah. And he was a big guy.
He was, and he just happened to be playing hurt that day, and I didn't get the full lick, but he was such a gentleman. He jumped up, "Oh, ref, I'm so sorry. And he started helping me up, you know. Of course, I was all right.
He was a great player, and I remember that game.
Claims when he went to Alcorn, the public address announcer did a prayer, and he said at the very end, "And thank you, Lord, the most for Steve Air McNair."
He was a legend, and of course, like he said, he's a great guy. But, ladies and gentlemen, it tickles me that we've got a guy that is up close hand. Now, you've officiated for a lot of guys, and you've stood right next to a lot of coaches. Now, and this is serious business. You know, a lot of them, their jobs on the line, or you know, it's all competitive, and you work so hard. The last thing in the world the coach wants is for an official to make a mistake, or official to make a bad call. You know, they don't. You know, they want the game to be played by the players. You know.
Right.
But
what about Malzahn? What was he like? What was his temperament during the game when he was at Arkansas State, came to Troy?
Next question.
Next question. So he was animated?
Well, yeah, he was that. He was a good fella, but he was determined to win, and of course, you know, you respect that.
What percentage of them are profane?
You know, I've seen that a demise of profanity.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying, they got different folks. You know,
right,
some of them are not profane, and some of them are.
And they are, and some talk very ugly. But I over the last 3 years, I've seen that change a lot. Now, I heard some of the players use some profanity behind me, but I didn't hear any of the coaches get very far out of line Saturday afternoon with their talk. It was pretty smooth, you know.
Yeah. What about a few years ago when Mississippi State and Mullen came? What was Mississippi State like, their coaching staff?
Mullen's sort of high-profile guy.
When did Mississippi State come to Troy? I don't remember that.
They opened the season when a coach played in these last 2 or 3 years. They opened the season in Troy.
Yeah.
So
they had the big quarterback that was about 6'6".
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you one that recently. How about the Idaho coach? You know who that is, Mike?
Petrino's brother.
Petrino's brother, Paul Petrino, that came there not too long ago.
That was last year.
Yeah, I've had so many of them. I tell you, in all due respect, the cussingest coaches I've heard, those from Navy.
Really? Navy? Can you believe that? We did wear them out, though.
Let me say something about that. Not one peek out of a player. And there was this Navy officer dressed there. He must have been high up in the school. And I was just joking with him. I said, you know, these boys cuss like sailors. He says, well, they are sailors.
But, ladies and gentlemen, what an experience. And of course, Mac Lowry, you know, preaches in the pulpit every Sunday at Calvary, and you know, people don't realize the night before he was at a war between two college football teams, and you know, you get a little bit, you know, into the game too. I mean, it's, you know, both coaches and all the teams are a lot of pressure and all that, but you know, y'all feel it yourself. You got to do your job too, don't you?
Yeah, it's hard not to get involved in the game. And there again is the instruction: don't get involved in the game. Keep your mind on what you're supposed to be doing.
All right, like
here,
you said,
know.
y'all used a different guy this week. I would have been worried about that because that guy doesn't have the experience that you do.
Well, this is it, and of course, Norman is an old official, and he understood when I talked to him what to expect and all. He had worked the sidelines before. He usually does the box on the home side. But he not with us, And,
I tell you what, it's not easy what y'all do, and it's very responsible.
I tell you what would be interesting. What's the hottest game you've ever worked, and what's the coldest game you ever worked? There's been some really.
First of all, the
games.
sun is right in your face. It's always facing, coming in to face the east.
Right. There's been some hot ones. I tell you, just about melt down.
Excuse me. The sun is coming from the west, hitting
also, you got that turf that makes it even more hot.
And it just boils up on you, And some of these teams coming in not used to the hot weather, I've seen it get to them. It makes a difference, after a while.
Let me ask you this: what time do y'all have to get to the game?
We're there an hour early. And I'm usually there a little bit earlier. I check all
have
of
a
the
room
equipment.
y'all usually go to. Is that right?
Well, only if the officials ask that we meet with them.
Yeah, I got
They'll designate a place for us to meet with them, and sometimes they want us to meet together as a whole crew, But normally we just meet on the field, and then the head linesman will come over and give us his instructions, and then usually the man in the white hat will come and introduce himself.
Mike, what would you think would be the worst headache for a chain crew?
I mean, I feel like the worst headache would be probably having to deal with somebody coming at you.
No.
Back to a football player.
I would say it would be the chain break.
The chain break.
The chain break. Do they have more than one chain?
Oh yes. There again.
That's very important, isn't it? A lot of high schools don't have that, and I've seen a game held up sometimes 30 to 40 minutes.
We didn't have it until the first game that Southeastern Conference officials officiated over there. He went berserk. He said, we will have an auxiliary, and somebody had to go to the clubhouse and make up a set and bring out there.
Yes, sir. That's
but
important.
Now that's one of my things. I make sure it's there.
About a Division I program, Troy only had one chain.
I would think that. Yeah.
Well, nobody knew. Everybody. We had never been asked about an auxiliary set, and I guess.
And it's up to the school to provide it.
Right, and so there wasn't going to be any game until that auxiliary set was out there. And of course, that's good, and it is good because the chains will break.
Now the down marker, which I reckon we look at more than anything, it's now. It's electric now, isn't it? Is that right? It's still done by manual?
Still do it by
Same
hand.
thing, flip it over.
Right.
That's something.
Right.
Several years ago, Colorado won a game and they got 5 down.
That's right.
Have y'all ever had an issue with the downs?
Do y'all keep up with the downs?
Not anymore. We don't.
The umpire, is the umpire or head linesman to keep up with the downs?
They're all supposed to keep up with them.
They got a rubber band. They got a rubber band. Now, people are saying, what is that rubber band doing over there? Well, what it is, here's the first down, and then you take it off there and you loop to the second down, the third down. Isn't that right?
That's the way it's done.
Been doing that way for years.
I told Dad, Troy was lucky before the half. He dropped back and he threw that long pass into the end zone to number 15, and he didn't catch the ball, but Troy luckily had 1 second left to get their field goal kicker out there. Of course, they missed the chip shot field goal, but that was pretty close on the clock right there.
Right. Normally, the clock operator won't. He'll let that second run off.
Ladies and gentlemen, the thing that is concerning more and more coaches and teams across the country, especially the mid-level Division Ones, is the rain problem and the lightning problem. Tell us about that.
Well, nowadays it's changed. It used to you just played right on through it unless the man in the white hat called it.
Yeah.
I remember one time at homecoming several years ago, there was terribly bad weather. In fact, almost tornado type, and lightning was popping, and there I was holding that iron.
Yeah,
stake,
you were holding
you
were holding, what do you call it? About like holding your golf club up.
The chain stick, and it was metal, and believe you me, it was not any fun. And finally at the half, it was about an hour delay till all that weather went out. You know, some of the folks there were hollering at us, why were y'all out there? Why? And of course, we were the only ones they could see.
The rule is it 15 miles or 30 miles? If there's any lightning within 15 miles of the stadium or the practice field,
you have to delay it for 30 minutes.
Or the practice field, they have to go in and so forth. That's why you see.
And then if it comes back, you got to delay it another 30 minutes.
That's right. It just keeps delaying, you know.
And that's why you're seeing so many, of course, the larger schools with the indoor facilities. Most all of the large schools have it. Troy doesn't have it. It's the next thing that needs to be constructed is an indoor facility where they can go and practice, during a storm. You know, there's lightning in Troy every day. If you'll think about it, and out there where you live,
just about it. Oh yes, right.
No question about it.
Well, talking about coaches' silence, let me say this one last thing here. Of all the coaches that have come and gone, that impressed me most, Howard Snellingberger was the most impressive.
Are you serious?
Now he was dressed.
Oh yeah,
immaculately. He had that handkerchief in his pocket.
Miami, and of course he coached under Bear Bryant.
He was at Florida Atlantic.
That was it.
Right, yeah.
And he never said anything to one of those players. He coached the coaches.
Yeah. See, I didn't realize I thought he would have been hard.
He broke Troy's heart that day. You know, Florida Atlantic came in. Troy let Overbrooks at quarterback. We thought we were going to the New Orleans Bowl. We were about to win the conference championship, and he beat Troy that day.
That quarterback beat us.
I remember that last measurement.
Atlantic ended up going to the bowl game and winning the New Orleans Bowl under Snellingberger.
I remember that last play. I stretched as far as I could.
Yeah. So
you
carried the actual chain out on the field.
I do, but now I don't do that much. I let Jeff Sexton do that. I give him the TV time.
So he runs out on that's right, TV time, exactly.
Right, because he's not seen, he's back in the back, and I always let Jeff take it out there.
Well, before we go today, tell us about your grandson in Kansas State playing Mississippi State. I know you're going up there to that game this week, and I know you got to be excited.
Yeah, we're going. Kansas State didn't have a real good showing Saturday night. They won, but that's about all you can say. They really didn't look good, and Tyler didn't have much to say about the performance.
Tell us about Tyler. Of course, he went to Montgomery Academy. Was not recruited by Troy. How was he recruited?
He came to the clinic they had, but they didn't ever show any interest in him.
But how big was he in high school?
Let's see. I think he was about 6'5", 295.
Oh, he was that big in high school.
Oh, he was big. Yeah.
I mean, I would have took a chance on him.
But then he had several teams in Kentucky and Tennessee recruited him, and then Florida State and Florida started recruiting.
Came in late on.
Right. And then the folks from Kansas State called. They says, well, we've looked at your line of work. We've seen your book of work. We want you to come out here. And they were the first to give him an invitation to come to campus. And so Tyler flew out, and his parents, they couldn't fly together, but they went, and Tyler just fell in love with it. He knew that's where he wanted to be. And
he's the type young man that, hey, this bunch had recruited me. They've wanted me from the get-go, and he's that kind of kid.
Right.
He said, hey, I'm going to go here, but it's turned out to be a wonderful thing. At 6'5.5", or 6'6", 315 pounds, he's one of the top guards in the country, and had a very good future in the pros, would you say?
If he doesn't talk much about that, but if it comes his way, I'm sure he'll give it every consideration.
Well, I know he's a fine young man. I know you're proud of him.
Yeah, but we're looking forward to it. We just don't know how Kansas State's going to measure up to Mississippi State. We know Mississippi State is tough. Where
did
really
they play
good.
that game? In Kansas.
They're going to play
in Kansas,
in Manhattan, right?
Coach Snyder and you are the same age, aren't you?
I'm just a little bit older than Coach. I made that. I told him that when I met him in Nashville last year. I said, Coach, I'm a little older than you. I'm your senior, you know, and he laughed.
I want to mention Dixieland Dental today, one of our prime sponsors, and of course Dr. Michael Precise, Dr. John, and Dr. Michael Precise, and we appreciate him very much. And of course, one of the top, one of the largest dental clinics in Alabama, and we appreciate him very much. And also Pike County Ford, looking for a Ford car or truck. Pike County Ford's the place to go.
Well, I tell you what, if he plays guard, he's going to have to block a first-round pick in that Jeffrey Simmons. Mississippi State's got two defensive linemen that the NFL are both saying are going to be two first-round picks. So if they can block Mississippi State, he can block anybody.
All right, well, I hadn't texted him yet today. I was on the thing with him last night, and he said they were getting along to getting ready for the game, and so that's about all he's ever going to say. He, you know, and he thinks they can play up to him, and that's good enough for me.
It's a great program, and that guy's a great coach.
They'll be on television. If anybody out there in the viewing area wants to watch, it'll be on at 11 o'clock on ESPN.
On ESPN. Game's going to be on at 11 o'clock.
All right.
That's great.
Well,
we'll be watching it from the tailgate.
Good thing about the 11 o'clock game, we'll get to spend Saturday afternoon with Tyler.
I know, that's great.
So we hadn't seen him since the spring, and it'll be a real thing to get to spend some time with him.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing you talk about it when you get back.
All right, and listen, I know the folks at Calvary are looking forward to hearing what you have to say Sunday.
Yeah, well, it'll be my first time as a preacher, and I'm looking forward to it. I really
we want to invite everybody to come and hear.
I'll
Mike's
tell you
going to
what,
be in charge from the
pick
start.
up your Bible and start reading, and I promise you it'll change your life.
Amen.
The Word of God.
Yeah.
Hope you've enjoyed our show today, and of course you can watch it again today at 1:30 right here on our Channel 2 dial, and we appreciate you coming on. It's very informative, and I hope to see you soon, and want you to be careful heading out far west. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you tomorrow bright and early. Max Howell will be with us to talk football right here on this show.